There's only a few more weeks till Christmas. Now let's take a look at the new releases coming out this week of December 9th, 2025. My name is Stefan. This is Parents Guide Gaming. If you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe.
The first game on my list is Death Hollow. This coming out on PC. The rating is teen. Content descriptions: blood and gore and violence. Death Hollow is an adventure game which players assume the role of a mother journeying through the spirit world to bring her son back from the dead. From a 3/4 overhead perspective, players explore the spirit world, interact with characters, and collect cards for deck building, combat, and battle fantasy creatures. Combat is turn-based, with players moving their characters on a grid and selecting offensive and defensive moves via cards from a deck. Combat is highlighted by impact sound, cries of pain, and screen-shaking effects. The game depicts instances of blood and gore in stylized cutscenes and on cards, characters shot in the neck by an arrow, an animal's skin being cut off, a boar's head hit with a hammer, with brain matter visible, stylized human face with the brain matter visible, a stylized human face with rotting flesh. Now let's take a look at Kiborg. This comes on Nintendo Switch. The rating is mature. Content descriptions: blood and gore, intense violence, and language. Kiborg is a fast-paced, story-driven action game that blends beat-em-up combat with roguelite encounters where each challenge is unique with the narrative advancing whether you win or lose. Combat centers on a third-person brawling with lock-on targeting, juggling light and heavy strikes, and mixing brutal melee weapons with ranged firepower. Run feed upgrades to cybernetic implants, stats, and combos, encouraging experimentation and steady power growth across attempts. Next up is Little Rocket Lab. Let's go on Nintendo Switch 2. The rating is everyone. Content descriptions: alcohol preference. Little Rocket Lab is a cozy factory building life sim where you automate a small character-driven production chains to help a mining town and ultimately finish your mother's rocket ship. You return to the town of St. Ambrose to revive your mother's rocket project, picking up a promise made by Aunt Uka and continuing the work as Morgan, whose childhood departure put the dreams on pause. The town's relationships, favors, and quests fame the automation, turning each building into a personal step towards completing the rocket and healing the community. The next game on our list is Montezuma's Revenge, the 40th Anniversary Collection. This got on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch. The rating is everyone 10 and up. Content descriptions: fantasy violence. You play as Pedro the Explorer, or his young sister Rosita, and an exposition to Montezuma's tomb, navigating sprawling chambers filled with traps, enemies, and secrets in pursuit of glory and treasure. The remake preserves the retro dungeon crawling vibe while expanding the content and presentation. Traverse interconnected chambers with precise jumps, ladders, conveyor belts, and moving hazards. Collect keys to unlock doors and access deeper areas. Manage torches, lives, and limited tools while solving room-by-room navigation puzzles that reward careful observation and timing. Now let's take to the gridiron in Mutant Football League 2. This got on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and PC. The rating is mature. Content descriptions: blood, sexual themes, strong language, use of drugs, and violence. Mutant Football League 2 is an over-the-top arcade-style football game with wisecracking mutants, weapons, deep strategy, and outrageous humor. 8-on-8 arcade football with bone-shattering hits, lethal arenas, and victory paths that include both scoring and outright obliteration of opponents. Special plays add chaotic, vicious twists that can sabotage or annihilate the other team, expanding on a series of signature mayhem. Diabolical stadiums packed with traps and environment dangers create a constant risk-reward environment in every down. Now it's time to live out your dreams in Star Trek Infection. This got on MetaQuest 3 and PC. The rating is mature. Content descriptions: violence, blood, and language. Star Trek Infection is a VR narrative survival horror set in the Star Trek universe. The game unfolds on the USS Lumen and connects to the outposts like Deep Space 38. Your covert mission spirals into psychological and physical nightmare as the infection takes hold, twisting perception in the body while forcing hard choices about newfound abilities. Now let's take a look at Code Violet. This comes on PlayStation 5. The rating is mature. Content descriptions: blood and gore, intense violence, suggestive themes. Code Violet is a third-person action horror game that blends dinosaur survival with conspiracy-driven sci-fi narrative set in the 25th century after humanity relocates to an exoplanet. You play as Violet Sinclair, abducted from the past and trapped in the bioengineering complex during an evacuation, where you must manage scarce resources and survive hostile forces and prehistoric threats. Avoid, hide, or fight through overrun facilities while carefully managing inventory and limited tools and stay alive. Use firearms and stealth against dinosaurs and operatives, choosing routes and engagements that balance risk and resource strain. And the last game on today's list is Terminator 2D No Fate. This came on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch, and PC. The rating is mature. Content descriptions: blood, violence, strong language. Terminator 2D No Fate is a retro side-scrolling run-and gun that reimagines Terminator 2 Judgment Day, with branching paths, multiple endings, and pixel art arcade action. You play across timelines as Sarah Connor, the T-800, and John Connor in missions that stitch iconic film moments with original scenarios. The campaign blends the 1995 Los Angeles storyline with future war, letting you stop Skynet's plan and presence while leading the resistance in the front lines. Choices influence outcomes, creating a no-fate arc where humanity's survival hinges on your actions. And the rest of the games on today's list are also coming out, but no information was available.
Well, that's all the games out for this week. If you like the content, please subscribe. If you want to follow Parents Guide Gaming on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok, and if you want to help the channel out, please support us on Patreon. And thanks for watching.